Mr. Horowitz, to what extent do you allow your individuality, your personality, to affect your interpretations?
To what extent? N+1.
In other words, a man can't say, a performer can't say that he really does not let any of himself come through, that he is just...
He has to. He is the liaison, is French word, middleman between the composer and the public.
Yes.
He is interpreting the law. He's interpreting the law. I am the lawyer.
It's been said that there is something of Liszt in Horowitz. Do you agree?
Something Mephistopheles, Mr. Mephistopheles.
No, in your technique, in your virtuosity, in your brilliance.
I never heard him, I cannot tell you.
All right.
But according to the writing, his music is, I understand his writing very well.
Do you consider that remark complimentary?
Oh, sure, it's complimentary, yeah. Because he was a good pianist. Without Liszt, probably we will not play, all of us, because he started to give recital. Yeah. He was the first who gave recitals, After him, it started to go.
May we speak a moment about the art of variations?
Art of variations.
Of variations, yes. I know you've recorded the Beethoven 32 variations in C minor.
Let me think about it. Many years ago.
Yes.
I don't even remember.
This work, I believe, is considered a milestone in the history of variations.
32 variations?
Yes.
There is 33 variations, too. You're about 32 or about 33?
Take your pick.
The difference is exactly in 40 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, the 32 variation is 10 minutes and 33 variation is 3.
All right, the Diabelli.
Diabelli.
Right.
That is 33 variation.
Yeah, well, now, do you consider this the greatest ever composition, the Diabelli, in variations?
The longest.
All right.
It reminds me of an anecdote. One man came at a concert and he heard, it happens, that he heard one day 32 variation, and 3 days later he heard the diabetes variation. He said, it's funny, one pianist played 10 minutes, the other played 45 minutes. With one variation difference. With one variation only.
Why have you never recorded the Diabelli variation?
I may.
Oh,
May one day. It's fun.
Fine.
Possible.
Fine. What's happening to the art of variations today in composition?
No, it still exists. Still exists. I don't know completely what you call modern composers. I don't know. But there are other larger forms, sonatas, things like that, and they're more now interested in orchestra, I think, the modern composer, more orchestra than piano. Piano is a little bit neglected. They don't know the modern piano very well. You have to be pianistic. You have to know your medium to compose, because it has to sound too,
At one time, your wish was to be a composer.
How do you know that?
I read it in a book.
That's good. Not that I wish, I wanted to be.
Well, you have.
But now I'm a frustrated one.
Now you what?
Frustrated one.
Oh, I see.
Because I missed the bus. I started to play the piano. I didn't have time to study more.
May we go back to Beethoven a minute? His piano sonatas do represent the pinnacle in this genre, don't they?
In the form of music, yes. But still, his orchestral works are more important, I think.
You do.
I think so, and his chamber music too. Yeah. Some of the sonata of piano are very much, but we have 32 sonatas, and maybe they are known, the playing 9, 10, 11, 12, but symphony, all 9 are played.
Yes, that's true.
You see, that's the thing.
And all of the 5 concertos.
The 5 concerto too.
Yes. How does an artist feel about the composers he performs, especially the young pianist upon first learning a great work? Were you ever, let's say, in awe of Beethoven's genius as you were learning the repertoire, as you were learning what this man had created?
Oh, I was. I was, definitely. Definitely.
How about awe for your own genius?
I don't have one. No. Leave me apart from that.
Your lovely wife was Toscanini's daughter, and
she is, yes. She still remains.
And you and the conductor had a mutual admiration for each other. Why didn't you record more together? You recorded 2 concerti.
Two concerti and one concerti twice we recorded.
I know, but that's not enough.
And we play more. I don't know why we didn't record it. We play Emperor Beethoven. We didn't record. We played the D minor Brahms. We didn't record it. I don't know why. It just happens like that, you know.
Well, the fault of the recording companies.
Probably, yes. You know, at that time was difficult to record for orchestra because, you know, the record, it's now as long playing records exist. It's only, the stereo is only 15 to 20 years.
So
But that time, you know, they play 4 minutes, and you have to chop the pieces, and that's why when you listen to very old records, they're only small pieces.
Would you take a minute to tell us briefly about your American debut in 1928? That's an interesting story.
With Mr. Beecham. It was his debut, too.
I know.
Yes, they were both debut, yeah. Yeah, that was a very comical thing, rather. Because, you know, I don't want to talk about my colleague, but he was more concerned about his symphony and his part, but they gave him a soloist, and that was first time he didn't know who I am, what it is, and like this, and he didn't look very well the score of Tchaikovsky concerto, and he conducted without the score, and he didn't know it. And I'm sorry to tell you, we're not together, and as I knew it is in stake, all my career in that moment, so I said that you go your way, I go my way.
And you won.
And somewhere we will, maybe in the restaurant after the concert, we'll meet together. But not during performance. That was the whole story. And very, very interesting that it was no quarreling or something, because we were very friendly always. And 5 years later, I played with him in London, and I remember before, it happens to be Tchaikovsky concerto. He said, Mr. Horowitz, I have the score with me.
In addition to the Diabelli variations, what other recording plans do you have? Well, there will be more recordings, won't there?
I hope so. And maybe will be some concerto, maybe something, maybe some bigger work too. But I record a lot lately.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
I know. But we always want more.
You want more. But Diabelli, I don't think I will record.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Can you tell me what magical atmosphere existed in the Ukraine around the turn of the century to produce such a great number of outstanding musicians, men like yourself and Heifetz and Chaliapin and Kipnis, to mention only a few?
You know, I sometimes ask myself, I don't know. I hope that the young people are interested still in music, and old and middle old and modern, but everything. You know, I'm interested in sport, for instance, too. I can listen to rock and roll too, but I can listen 33 variations of Beethoven too. I have a kind of synthesis of interest in my life. I like paintings and literature and many other things.
Are you saying that in
Not
your child...
sectarian. I think the people are too sectarian now. They need a little bit of that only, but this, no, that I don't accept. Then. If we accept that, we should accept a little bit more lives, you know, because art is art.
And this was the way your childhood was?
Yes, that is. When I was already 18, 19, 20, I knew all the opera, all the symphony, everything, much more than my piano literature.
And this was because you
I
lived...
was more interested in this.
Yes, but you lived in a very cultural community, and you had the means to attend these things, and parents
Not
who...
attend, no. I didn't hear it, but I had this course with me. And the music. I used to go to bed with score of Götterdämmerung under my pillow, you know.
Oh, well, when did you see your first opera then?
When I left Russia. Because in Russia at that time it was a revolution time, and they didn't show so much of that kind.
Oh, when did you attend your first piano recital? Was that in Russia?
Was in Russia, yeah. Was in Russia. Oh no, many others.
Yes.
But I don't remember because I was under the table. I don't remember. I remember after I was 15, 16, 17, then I heard lots. People start to come from Western hemisphere.
May I, in closing, just mention one composer we haven't talked about yet, Mozart.
Mozart. He's a very good composer.
But you don't perform Mozart as often as you do other composers. Is that
because I would be more interested to play his concertos.
I see.
And I don't think his sonatas are the best thing to compose, you know. And I play them less. But I play sometimes 2, 3 sonatas I play. But with concerti, yes, I play a lot of them. But I didn't record them. I didn't play in concert.
Which are your favorites of the concerti?
A dozen.
From 21 on, at least?
No, from the last period. Last, from Koshel 400 to 500, you know, that. The earlier I like less. And his sonata are more a little naive, you see. In that respect, I am playing Clementi, who was more advanced in this time than Mozart. Clementi influenced mostly Beethoven, mostly, and for the piano.
He was a teacher?
He was later. He was teacher. He was younger than, older than Mozart. Not younger than older than Mozart. He was born 52 and Mozart was born 1756. This one was born 52, but he was striving for a more modern piano because Mozart was composing from clavicembalo, more this kind of music, and he wanted more sound, more deep, and he invented the piano and composed for the piano, and Beethoven was terribly interested. And after he died, he has 65 sonatas, Clementi, and they were maybe printed only 20 or 22. He has 26, 28 symphonies, which he burns all of them. He was a great composer. He didn't have a genius of Mozart or Beethoven, but he influenced Beethoven mostly than any other composer. And he has beautiful things. And the sonata I'm playing here is purposely for that reason is written, maybe Beethoven was 12 years old, and Mozart was just starting to compose, you know, too.
Oh, one other thing occurs to me. How do you feel about the harpsichord? Do you find it as sort of weak and uninteresting instrument in comparison to the piano?
I don't like to talk. I love the singing tone like Beethoven writes in his letter. But I hope that one day the piano will not sound like a harp or a harpsichord and will have a singing tone and not percussive. He writes himself, Beethoven, and that's what I like mostly. So that answers your question, I suppose.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Horowitz.